All right, we're glad to have you back now. I have me here, Mr. Olusegun Mario, who is editor for Urban Express News. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
And I have Mr. Sonny Odibashi, an editor for National Daily Newspaper. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the
Yes. So it's no longer news. I mean, hike in fuel price, it's like the song in everyone's mouth right now. And we've had fuel scarcity for a very long time now. And NNPC came up, and all of a sudden we had this revelation. I think it was a month or so about a 6 billion naira debt, which they had been denying long before now, and then they finally came out to say, okay, yes, we are actually owing this amount, 6 billion naira, to the suppliers and all. And the increase in pump price, I think they are selling at 899 naira, I think, depending on your location, and which of course reflected at other filling stations, that are selling 1,000 and even above 1,000 naira. Yes. So let me get your reactions on all of these at the beginning, because I mean, right now Nigerians are angry, because of course your increasing fuel price definitely means it's going to reflect on every other thing. We're talking about food, basically everything in the country is definitely going to go high. Let me just get your reactions on this first. Okay, let's start with Mr.
Thank you very much. In all you have just mentioned, use the word sincerity, in everything. We have been here before in the past that I hold my ground to say that there's still subsidy, that subsidy was shielded in assignments and they don't want us to do. And then I put further that subsidy should not even come in the first instance. I still believe that there's something they are not allowing us to know, in this fuel energy. There was a time during Obasanjo's government, the House Committee Chairman for Petroleum, upstream, I think, for downstream, the man said that another harbinger where corruption tries in the NNPC, he alleged that they are not bringing out the documents for them to oversight. They are letting them know all this thing that is going on, the activities that is going on in the NNPC to investigate whether it is legal or illegal. I put forward again. In the time of Adwa, we have issues with the petrol subsidy that allowed Nigerian reserve would drain, went to more than half at that time. Then Jonathan came in, we were still continuing, but there was oil rainfall at that time, so the subsidy continues. And then we know that there is a problem. The then Minister for Finance and Coordinating Minister for Economy, Dr. Konjo-Iweala, who is the President of World Trade Organization as President of TG, organized a town hall meeting. We have in among those that came, the President, Emir of Sanusi, they told us there is a problem. The idea is one, that oil, refined petrol is taken out of Nigerian borders, and that not until we have a way of nipping this on the board, we cannot achieve anything. That's one. Again, the woman projected that if stringent measures is not taken in the issue of subsidy, there will be crisis. The president then, Jonathan, went ahead and said he wants to remove subsidy. He was outright about it, and he wanted all stakeholders to be on the, and be inside that team to see that this action even to a logical conclusion. Yes, everybody will feel the impact, but the sincerity of purpose in it would have been a justifiable process at the end of the day. We may not know that is going to go, the action itself speaks volume, but then we have many of our politicians who in the past protested at that time that first subsidy was a scam, and that the fuel subsidy must continue. The life of Pastor Bakari was there. What our president has his team members that are there. Many of those people were there and fought vehemently in Ojota Park to say that subsidy must remain. Again, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the president. He came on board on the day of inauguration. He pronounced, and I quote, "Fuel subsidy is gone." So when you look at the metamorphosis, you will discover that there is corruption within process. I will put this again. During Buhari's regime, we have the president who described himself as the minister. At the end of his speech, when he swing his minister, he said, "Here sitting in front of you is the present minister of petroleum." I quote him, the past president, Muhammadu Buhari. Again, this president, when he swore in minister, he opened to the media, the journalists there, that he is going to be the minister of petroleum. What is it that is hidden that not allowing Nigerians to know? By not putting an independent person in that position to become a minister and work independently. They brought Lokobiri as the state minister. I saw Boala on Twitter saying, I picked a story from me there, that they should be shown the way out. The minister of what's it called, defense and Watawali and the rest of them. He went further to talk about why are they not talking. He specifically talk about the COVID. Why is he not talking to give Nigerians information about the new introduced fuel price that they have enacted? You know, he's saying that it is part of a way of bringing down the government. By and large, to cut the long story short, we have corruption, reading process, we have insincerity of purpose, and then we need a change and transparency in all.
All right. So let's have Sunday. Do you also feel that there's more to this whole petroleum issue crisis? There's need than the eye.
Well, I think it's a very serious matter.
Of course.
You know, because the elite in this country, they have captured our national wealth for their own interest. Okay? Such that they put our treasury, share the booty among themselves as against the city. And they found oil a veritable source of amassing wealth. So they neither here nor there. Look, I did a study of subsidy in Nigeria. This origin from 1977, first appearance 1973. It became an issue in 1977. What the Nigerian government was subsidizing was production and not consumption. What the government was doing then, they sell crude to the refineries at a price that is low at the international market price. That was what government was doing. Government was not subsidizing decision and no, it was not subsidizing refined products. It was crude that the federal Nigerian government, that was the military government, that they were subsidizing crude that was supplied to refineries. How many refineries did we have then? I think about 4. Okay? So you could track the amount of money that go to subsidy then, and who were the beneficiaries and all that. And suddenly, they broke down all the refineries. Can you believe 4 refineries become non-functional? Then you now have legion of oil dealers feeding on subsidy. Now to reactivate those, reactivate them is no longer an issue that interests the Nigerian government. Rather, it's about subsidy. Today, okay, we now say, okay, we have removed it. You remove what you do not produce. So, when this particular issue came, On the day NNPC announced the increase in price, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Lopogri, issued a statement that he did not give any directive to NNPC to increase the pump price of petrol. 24 hours later, the news came up that the Vice President was meeting with NNPC, GMD, and the Minister of State, Lopogri himself, on the directive of President Tinubu, who was in China. In the next 24 hours again, we saw the report. That was when this one followed. There's confusion in government. If there's no confusion, why should the presidency be summoning the GMD, summoning the minister after it been made? Who now made the decision? You get it? The minister said he did not issue any directive. Now, thereafter, the vice president was now meeting with the minister and the GMD. Then they now expanded the meeting to include the NNSA. There's a problem. And maybe something is somewhere overpowering Mr. President himself. In my last appearance here, we talked about the entrenched interest in government. Anthony said Obasanjo dealt with it. And I said, but it's still a problem. Because when that entrenched interest is somewhere, deciding what goes on in government, it questions the capacity of the man in office to be president. And that's why we're where we are. So we are still monitoring and tracking. We're waiting for the president to come back. Maybe he now sit on.
Speaking of the president actually addressed it. Of course, we live in China.
Yeah. No, he has left China for UK. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So the president actually said that the petrol price hike and other reforms by his administration are an overall strategy to set Nigeria on the path of economic growth.
But so it's now putting Nigeria on the path of economic decline. Because one, you are increasing the cost of production. And capital is very sensitive. It's not blind. Capital can go to where there's no return on investment. Now, who will be that foolish capitalist that will come and invest in an army with high cost of production? Let's go.
All right. Of course, I mean, every Nigerian at this point is very, very angry. It's a very sad issue. But now let's come to, we spoke about refinery. We also know that within the week, Dangote refinery, started, came up to say, okay, they are ready to supply petrol. And of course, it's almost as though... No,
it's the same day that the price was increased. Exactly.
So it's coming as though, okay, that should be a relief to Nigerians that, okay, now we have a refinery that is working and it might just... But now the question in the mind of everyone, or what everyone is watching out for, is the pricing.
Yes.
The price coming, okay.
See, let me say this. The introduction of Dangote refinery was a big mistake on the part of the oligarchies. It's something that if I have their way, they will eliminate it. So it is good.
It wasn't an easy battle anyway.
Yes, it is good that the refinery is in the southwest because, according to my he says Yorubas are sophisticated people, and I agree with him. We would not do anything haughty on refinery. The Yorubas are not. We would take care of that refinery because it is the resources that will give the ordinary people what they need. And why did I say this? We have the issue of NNPC quickly telling them that they are the only one they will be selling that thing.
Yeah, so
why do you want to monopolize a market that is needing capitalism, that is needing individuals to come on board, and that is not operating a communist state where government should determine everything? One of the reasons why you are determining that is bringing problem to the Nigerians is because of the philosophy behind it. And then begin to think about what the development of this ideology that why would somebody have a clothes at home that is his own and is having problem to access the clothes? You get that's exactly the problem. And when you see that it becomes a problem, you accessing it, there is human between Nigerian people and their resources. Some few cabals. And don't forget, they are students. There are cabals there. The same cabals are not relenting. They have was able to give him the platform to build, approve. He left, and then the next thing, begin to see different kind of drama coming up. You know, they told us the land was given to him and all that. Dangote came out to tell Nigerians that are hearing that he paid for that land of $100 million. So there are any hidden agenda, and I give glory to God that if they are not fighting beside each other, we Nigerians will not be able to hear all these things. They would have shrouded the whole thing in silence, and then they will still keep on, dangling Nigerians with like the way Osimhen is playing his opponent. So it is very good, but we will still follow. We are following it, and then I like the development that the president has done in one aspect, that he turned the transaction of buying crude from dollar to naira, which is encouraging. But we want to see more encouraging the introduction of new innovations that would be of support, of empowerment to the Nigerian people, because they own the natural resources. I've been asking God before to make that resources go dry. If you ask me, I will still yes, to go dry. When you are using resources and then you say God has given you a resources, and then there's a United Nations report I read, that says only 3% of Nigerians have legitimate access, in terms of beneficial to that crude oil resources. So if the crude oil go dry, between me and you, we are not going to feel anything. The 3% of those that are accessing this crude oil, milking the poor, are the ones that will cry. I will still be there, doing my little things and making little money to feed my children. So that's my view.
Okay, but before I get to Mr. Sunday's point on this, do you see the ability of Dangote for being sold for a lesser price?
I see the possibility
compared to
what we are saying. If these cabals are not bringing in another ideology, bringing it to the president, and president approving it.
Okay. I think the question in every Nigerian, who are these cabals?
Don't forget the same cabal, I will tell you, that came out to tell us when the speaker visited the plant. He told us that the crude, the oil, the PMS is not of standard. They told us something is not of standard. What do you use to arrive at what makes it substandard? How did the Nigerian government give a license, of a magnitude of industry by not following due process to ensure that everything that was produced in that place should be standard? You came on board, you said it is not standard, trying to pass it away so that Nigeria can see that it is not of a standard, and then we should need to cry again. Why would a government that goes to ensure, the credibility, the standard, of refinery called Dangote Refinery is now coming out to tell us? The speaker came there, and we saw it on the TV, even Galaxy, we saw it there. Okay, when they were evaluating, and they told us that they are going to go fact-finding, a mission on it, and eventually we discovered that what they were doing actually was a fallacy. And it is on the note some of us, came to conclusion that the man that came out in that manner, one of the cabal Dangote is mentioning.
Okay, all right. Let's have Mr. Sunday. We have Dangote Refinery.
Yes.
We have pricing, and the whole.
Yes. Now the point is this: in the first instance, Dangote Refinery, in a private sector investment, is a threat to the elite that are reaping, but enjoying the status and thing. Serious threat. One, that refinery, at a time, NFC told us that Nigerians were consuming 6 million liters of petrol per day, on the basis of which they were taking out subsidy on daily basis. You get it at some point. So if they had given Dangote the free hand, Nigerians would have known the actual consumption per day, and that would have now exposed the subsidy fraud, the claims that have been made over the years. All right, that is one. Two, Nigerian elite, they are unproductive. They are not productive. They are not creative in any manner. They themselves will tell us government is bad manager of business. They themselves will tell us this at every time. Government is bad manager of business. Now think of all the big government businesses in this country which are surviving. All right. Now, presidents have come and gone. They have been making reforms halfway, including the present president. If President Tinubu is honest to reform the oil sector, we don't need subsidy. Nigerians don't need subsidy. You don't. You need open market competition. If they allow Dangote to operate independently, all right, now it was President Obasanjo who created an NPC from a department and the Ministry of Petroleum. You get it? He created. Now, he didn't create with the intention of what we are seeing today. He created with the intention of managing our national wealth within a defined body. Now, if Tinubu wants to make a reform, return the management of either oil wells, now that NNPC is a limited company, now return the management of oil wells to the Ministry of Petroleum. Okay? Now, take out, allow Dangote to operate independently. To tell them to push the elite are not productive, NNPC may not even last for 6 months.
And to add to what you have said, what you have said earlier regarding, subsidizing the production instead of the distribution, I think is a very wonderful idea.
That is how the government started, and that was a military government, not even a civilian government. It was a military government that started that. All right. So, presidents have been coming. It was only IBB that was intelligent. That if you should go on full reform of the economy, government may go out of existence. What did IBB did? He introduced what he called golden shares. So the golden shares are those that is the share that the minority share that the government will hold in all the businesses they were privatizing. So they will now have the superior power to make decisions. So when they take like 30%, those 30% will now make the decision. And that was the time Nigeria was actually having reform. And if that was not done, there would have been protection. Now, so substitute president could not go on full reform. If they do, in fact, government we may not even be talking about government in this country again, because government will lose power. Take the telecoms. If we're waiting for what's it called, Nitel, we have to telephone today. I just laugh when Mr. President, the current president, is telling us he's making hard decisions. To make a decision that will punish citizens is not a hard decision. But to make a decision that will make the economy work and benefit everybody is a hard decision. And we'll have two in this country over the years by two presidents. One, IBB. When he privatized communication. That is why we are here now. If not for IBB, the girls won't be here. We would have been waiting for NTA and all the government. It was just in the place of government now that we're waiting to give us information. But it was IBB who opened and have independent television stations owned by individuals. That was a reform. That was a very rational reform. And it was a hard reform. Because you broke the rank of the elite, the hegemony. You broke it. The second one, telecoms, Obasanjo. It was here that they brought the first. There was the first GSM system they brought, and they said the telephone 909 something. They said telephone was not for the poor. Obasanjo now came and brought this GSM. That telephone is not for the poor. Now the private company. Who is talking about subsidy in telecoms? Are you talking about any subsidy? But it's working. Now, when President Tinubu said he removed subsidy, he attempted to shift away where everybody had been shouting, or the NNPC monopoly. I think some job seekers, political jobbers, will come and say, oh, we don't understand what you're saying. There's no monopoly anywhere. Now, what is happening today? When President Tinubu said he has removed subsidy, he pretended as though he was going to break them. They told us they have given you license to 6 private companies to import petrol. All right. Now, what is the capacity? Are those companies still functioning today? One imported and almost told us that 1 liter was almost 1 million, because we were not telling us about exchange rate and whatever. Now look at what they are telling us, that they are going to tag the price to exchange rate. You get it?
Yeah.
And this is also the product that Mr. President has said you can buy in Naira. So why are you not tying it to exchange rate? So it's about the insecurity, all the crisis, all the noise of controversies about Dangote refinery and whatever. It's about the insecurity of the elite that cannot produce, insecurity of the elite that cannot be, that is not creative. So they don't want it to go.
Because of what they are gaining from it.
Because if they do, they will go out of existence.
All right. With that being said, our eyes are still on the government as always to make sure that they fix up this issue. I mean, like the meeting they had with the vice president, just as you spoke, you said local Biri actually said that we have more than enough fuel in Nigeria, and everyone is wondering where is the fuel. I mean, look at queues and the hike. But our eyes are still on them. We are hoping that things will get better, because it's really not funny. Nigerians are angry at this point, and we hope that things will get better. With that being said, we'll just quickly go through